Hello, my name is Host Eric. I am host talking to Finnish people. I've got some old friends in the room and new friend Necro here. Now, Necro, we just had a cold conversation, which we talked about, did some typing stuff, and I've tentatively thought perhaps you're an INFJ. I'm curious to learn a little bit actually about you, to the extent that you're willing to give us any information. You sound to me either from France or like Belgium, maybe, or something like that, or possibly
Portugal?
French Canada.
Nah, for Portugal.
From
Uh,
where?
Portugal.
Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah.
Portugal. Wow, how exciting. It's always exciting to talk to somebody from a faraway lands like Portugal. Um, okay, you guys took over Brazil and made them all learn Portuguese.
Not just Brazil, a lot of African countries too, but yeah.
Oh, okay,
They have
cool.
decriminalized drugs in Portugal.
What's that? Oh, yeah, you guys
They have
decriminalized drugs. How's
decriminalized
that
drugs.
working out for you?
I what?
You
I
guys.
have no idea. I have no idea what's happening around like Portugal.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I know what's happening in America, like
Oh.
with politics, but I don't really care about like what happens in Portugal because after college I wanna go to America, so whatever.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, as long as you're not Muslim, I support your immigration.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this thing I was reading about before we started talking with Necro, and I anticipate he'll have some interesting thoughts about it too, no doubt. It's what's known as the hidden agenda. Hidden agenda. And it's a socionics thing, and maybe we'll help narrow down Necro's type if he says which of these is his hidden agenda. So,
Okay.
the hidden agenda thing says, oops, I had it up and then I started getting distracted by reading something else. Of course. Here it is, type in hidden agenda. So, it says, every person has a hidden agenda. This agenda often governs one's intentions and behavior. People are often unaware of its origin, but can always feel its significance. Some people are more affected by it than other people. Every type requires an optimal condition in which it can function properly. If such condition does not exist, a person will normally attempt to create it. However, due to the nature of the hidden agenda, if and when the optimal condition is reached, the person will occasionally put themselves in a situation where the stability of this condition is threatened. So, there are 8 such agendas and optimal conditions, /optimal conditions. ENTPs and ESTPs, that includes me, their hidden agenda is to be loved. Well, that's not very hidden for me, though, right? I'm pretty open about that. INTJ and INFJ, their hidden agenda is to be healthy. ESFJ and ESTJ, their hidden agenda is to be perfect. ISFP, INFP, their hidden agenda is to understand. ENFJ and ENTJ, their hidden agenda is to be wealthy. Well, that's not very hidden either, I don't think. ISTJ and ISFJ, their hidden agenda is to believe. ESFP, ENFP, their hidden agenda is to know. And INTP and ISTP, their hidden agenda is to love. The ability to recognize these hidden agendas in people is quite helpful in type identification. Moreover, these agendas are also directly connected with some personal problems an individual might have. Okay, so that's what it says about the hidden agendas, and I am going to send you guys the link in the chat to this hidden agendas article, and I'm going to leave this up in the window so that people can reference this little chart here where it talks about the 8 hidden agendas. Okay, so oops. Sorry, this takes me a little second because when I'm filming, the computer is like, you're doing too much shit. Okay, so there's that. And then in the chat, I'm going to put the link. Pow. Like that. Pow. And now we're good to go. So, first let me just talk briefly about the ENTP, the one that's first on the list, to be loved. I think that's absolutely true. The ENTP is... I read a really interesting thing on the same site about the ENFP Uncovered, and basically it just said the problem with the ENFP is that they want to be loved as well, although it says here they want to know, but they're not very rational in trying to get it to happen, and so they end up causing lots of short-term relationships, blow up, stuff like that. Whereas the ENTP tends to be more long-term in his application of things. I find that's absolutely true. I find that having come to admit that to myself in general, that it's really important to me that I get a lot of attention and affirmation from people, has been extremely liberating. Because before, I was trying to exist in a world where I was denying it and saying it's bad to have that nature, so therefore I do not have it. And that was just being deceptive to myself. So anyway, which of those, let me start with you again, Necro, which of those hidden agendas do you think you most identify with?
Hmm. I think to understand maybe?
Okay, so that would make, that's INFJ, because these P's and J's get reversed in socionics, okay?
Uh-huh.
So that would be consistent with my notion that you're an INFJ. You're definitely not an ISF anything, because if you were S, you'd remember what you ate for lunch, okay? So that means you're an N, you know?
But
I think that means that lends credence to the notion that you're an INFJ.
but the thing is,
Go ahead.
if the thing is, if I'm a schizoid, do you know what that is, or
No.
schizoids?
Oh, schizoid. I mean,
Schizoid, yeah.
if you're schizophrenic, you
No,
have multiple
schizoid.
personalities, like split personality.
No.
That's
It's not
different.
that. Wait. It's like, I can send you the link.
It's like that?
What does it mean? I can't.
It's like you cannot you don't feel like empathy
Oh,
towards
that's a
other people or
sociopath.
external objects. No, it's
So-
not a sociopath. It's wait. I'm
Schizoid
gonna say-
personality disorder.
Yeah,
Schizoid
exactly.
personality disorder.
A condition in which people avoid social activities and interacting with others. People with this condition don't desire or enjoy close relationships, even with family, and often seen as loners. They may be emotionally cold and detached.
From people and external things. So the thing is, how could you, like, the thing that says here is to love, right? Like, what if I am a YNTP, but I cannot love because I'm a schizoid? Do you see that? Like,
Okay,
the
well,
thing
let me say a couple things about this. There was a period in my life when I was between 18 and 25 or so, where I firmly believed myself to be incapable of experiencing normal emotions that would suggest that I cared about certain things, right? And certain people. But I since have come to realize that I was an ENTP who was exceedingly distant from his FI. It's quite possible. Yeah, right. I said that. We're talking about the INFJ, which is the one that says to understand. So INTP in MBTI is to be healthy, correct?
Elf?
That's
Oh, okay.
INTP.
Oh yeah. I keep confusing this.
INFJ is to understand. Because remember, the P's and J's on the I's get reversed, but not on the E's. So, I mean, to me, when you say that, that smells like ENTP, ESTP. This schizoid thing. The ENTP discovers later on that they're just insanely distant from their own emotions, and they're there, but they just pretend like they don't exist, or they're unable to recognize them, and they have this weird blind spot about it, right? Until you get older, but they're there, and if you are that kind of ENTP, if that's what's going on to this schizoid personality disorder thing, if you are experiencing a lack of empathy during that age range, you need to wait. Your brain's not all the way done developing. That's why it's all terrorists who end up being like 18 to 24-year-olds. your brain changes and you begin to experience. You go, oh, that's what that is. This is especially true for people who are spoiled. If you've had a good life, if you've been taken care of well, you're most likely to experience this feeling when you're this age range. But when you get older, you won't feel that way anymore. You're going to realize, oh my God, these things are the most important things in the world to me. Not because other people are telling me so, but because now I'm capable of recognizing my emotions. Now, if you're not an ENTP or an ESTP, and I'm leaning actually increasingly towards ENTP with you, then I don't know what to tell you about that, except probably INTPs experience something equivalent. It's just colder.
And that's the other thing, though, with this time period, like in adolescence, that's when most personality disorders come on, most mental issues.
That's also when most people who are perfectly healthy think they have mental disorders.
It might be because you're like a lot of your ideas aren't defined yet and stuff.
A lot of my ideas are what?
No. When you're a teenager, like you're still trying to define what you.
Right, but you guys got to understand something. That carries over into you about, like, for me, until I was about like 26, 27, somewhere in there, 28 maybe. When I had a kid, things changed dramatically. But before I had a kid, I had learned, like, oh, okay, Eric, you care about people. You care about things, you know? It matters. You have feelings, a little bit. I started to basically get glimmers of it, like, oh, wait, are those feelings? The things that keep making me mad and cry and laugh and stuff? That's what those are? I was sure they were logical constructs. Okay, so let's go on to hidden agendas. Lorenz Walker, is it secretly your main hidden agenda in life really to be healthy? Do you want to be a healthy guy?
I'm gonna go and say no. I kind of I felt more closely when I actually was confused and thought it was the INTP from Socionics. I was like, well, I mean, I would see that was more underlying and maybe like for like a one person thing, but I mean, in a general sense, I can see this to be a healthy thing because I want to be careful in a sense.
I'm getting a vision. It's Lorenz Walker. He's vegan. He's doing yoga.
Nope.
No?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one seems weird to me too. It seems weird. I also had this same initial confusion when I didn't make the translation in my head. I said, "Oh, that makes sense for INTP to love," and then I realized, "Oh wait, that's not right. It's actually to be healthy," and that seems weird to me too. Any other thoughts on that from the INTPs or anybody else?
The MBTI INTP, the secret agenda or whatever that's called. Yeah, secret agenda. Hidden. Is it to be healthy or wealthy?
Healthy. Like eat good.
That makes no sense. I mean,
you don't think it makes sense either? I agree.
It makes sense. Because I would sacrifice a lot of like my health. Like I wouldn't sleep if I were to find like an idea interesting and I would develop it, right?
Right, but that's what makes it the hidden agenda. You see, it's the opposite of your seventh function. So for me, my seventh function says FI. It doesn't matter my feelings. It doesn't matter if you love me or not. I'm tough old Eric. I'm big bad old Eric. But my hidden agenda is, oh, please love me, right? So for an INTP, then they're saying it doesn't matter my body. I'm busy thinking about this idea here, but secretly, I care a lot about being healthy in my body because it's SE. Yeah, I mean, that's I guess how they intend it to be interpreted or something. Okay, anybody else in the room want to comment on this who was ideally a type that's either not ENTP or INTP, so we could get some other thoughts on the types. I have thoughts. I'll chime in eventually if nobody else wants to chime in. Marjay, I believe you self-identify as an INFJ. I wonder if you might add into chat here some thoughts on whether your secret agenda is actually to love. No, I'm sorry. To understand. To understand. Not to love, to understand. Is that your secret agenda?
I was reading that SI has to do with meditation, and when we were talking about it a long time ago, we were saying it was SE. I read it was kind of bold.
Well, I think there's different frames of meditation, right? I think the meditations are designed to highlight certain manners of attention.
We tried talking about how the different, or how you can meditate.
Yeah, and it turned out the answer was your mom's face. Remember, that was the crazy thing. And we were all like, "It is! It's Lorenz Macher's mom's face! Wow!" Okay, so anything else we want to say about this? We're talking about the hidden agendas. Dusty Racer is here. Dusty Racer.
I'll head to dinner now. And
okay. Bye, Necro. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay.
It's a pleasure hearing from Portugal. Thank you for visiting from a faraway land.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, I'm looking here. I don't see any other comments regarding this topic. Let me just go down a couple comments I have. ENFJ and ENTJ to be wealthy. Well, duh, for sure. I have an ENFJ and an ENTJ in my employ, and the ENFJ loves status symbols, would love to have a fancy car, had to have a Mac, not a PC, even though PCs are way better because of status reasons. And the ENTJ is explicitly less money focused, but in actual actions seems to be very concerned about maximizing profit and stuff like that. So I can tell you that's for surely the case.
What if the ENTJ's 7th slot?
The ENTJ's 7th slot is the same as the... Let's see. No, it's... well, it must be the same as ENFJ's 7th slot.
SI.
Oh, yeah, SI. Because... And that makes sense, because it's like they don't have a good sense of their identity in time, and so they look for external symbols to make it more real for them. And then let's look at the ISTP Basement Overlord, which is going to be ISTJ here. Where is that? ISTJ. To believe. Basement Overlord wants to believe. We should ask Patrick. We should tease him about his hidden agenda. We should say, Patrick wants to believe.
Oh, well. Eric wants to be loved.
Oh, guys, come on! Everybody tease everybody about their hidden agenda. Okay, let's see. What about JC? JC wants to know. JC wants to know. INTP Dusky Racer, do you secretly want to be healthy?
I mean, I kind of do, because I want to become a cyborg and live long enough for the biological advances.
Right. The biological advances that remove reproduction, I remember that. Okay. How about you, Test? Oh, Test is just a test, I guess. Testing to see if I can actually join GoToMeeting and that it is, I'm not going to, steal all their information or something. Okay, well, other types here of note. Other types here of note: the INFP and the INTP both want to be healthy. The ISFJ and the INFJ. So that's my mom, ISFJ. INFJ, my best friend Corey. They want to understand, and so they really need to listen to me more. That's where, when we have conflicts, that's what it's about. I'm saying, like, you don't understand, and they say, I understand a different truth than you, Eric. And I'm like, well, your hidden agenda is to understand. It shouldn't be to preserve your current understanding. Anyway, I guess that's about all I have to say about this one. Let's go ahead and close this one up. And thank you to Marjay for suggesting the topic. And don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.